Hi, my name is Rachel Paxton. Today I'm going to show you how to can apricot pineapple jam. In this course, I will show you how to make and can apricot pineapple jam. I'll lead you through the process step by step. I'll give you the recipe and canning supply list. You can download and print out for future reference. You'll find those in your course materials, and you'll also gain the confidence you need to try more canning recipes on your own. For this recipe, you're going to need 3 cups of chopped apricots, a cup of crushed pineapple drained, 5 cups of sugar, and 4½ tablespoons of powdered pectin. You'll need a boiling water canner, a canning rack if you're using your own stock pot, a jar lifter, an immersion blender, which is optional, a wide mouth funnel, and 3 pint or 6½ pint canning jars. This is what a boiling water canner looks like. If you don't already have one, you can get one at Walmart, or you can order one from Amazon for about $32, I think. There's a link to this in your supply list in your course materials if you need to order one. The kit comes with all the tools you need to your funnel and your jar lifter come with the kit. This is the canning rack that comes in the boiling water canner. If you want to use a large stock pot for boiling water canning, you can, but you need a canning rack like this to put in the bottom of the canner so that your jars aren't sitting on the bottom of the pot. These cost about $10. This is what a jar lifter looks like. It's used for putting your jars in and out of the pan. Wide mouth funnel sits in your jars so you can easily pour food in your jars. An immersion blender is optional, but I highly recommend getting one at some point. I use mine all the time. They're about $20. It is just a blender, a hand blender that you put in your pan, and you can use it on the stove instead of pouring things out of your pan and putting it in the blender. They work really well. First, you want to fill your canner about 3/4 of the way full with water and heat the water until boiling. Sterilize your jars, rings, and lids in the dishwasher. You can reuse your rings and your jars as long as there are no cracks or nicks in your jars, but you need to buy new lids every time. All you need to do to prepare your apricots is just chop them up and put them in the pan. You do not need to peel them. You place the chopped apricots and drained crushed pineapple in the stock pot. You might wonder if you can change the amounts of ingredients in this. You can easily double this recipe if you want to make more jam, and you can also change the amounts of fruit. It's just a suggestion to use 3 cups apricot and 1 cup pineapple. You can change the amounts of apricots and pineapple just as long as the total is exactly 4 cups. So you could do half pineapple and half apricots if you wanted to. So I used an immersion blender to blend my fruit up in the pan. You'll want to do that to get the peels all blended in. If you don't have an immersion blender, you can pour the stuff out of your pan and put it in the blender in a food processor, and it will also work. Next, put it back in the pan if you took it out, and see, it looks all blended up. It looks kind of like applesauce now. You want to stir your pectin in and a pinch of butter. The butter will keep foam from building up too much on top of your jam while it's cooking. You want to bring the jam to a boil that cannot be stirred down. After it starts boiling, you want to pour the sugar in all at one time. I highly recommend that you have your sugar measured ahead of time because it's easy to lose count of how much sugar you've put in, and if you put the wrong amount in, your jam will not set. So have your sugar all measured out and pour it in at once, and then heat the jam until boiling, and you want to boil for 1 minute. Next, remove your pan from the heat, and you want to ladle the jam into your sterilized jars, leaving a 1/4 inch headspace. The headspace is the amount of space between the top of the jam and the top of the jar. It's important when you're canning to have the correct amount of headspace because your food will expand in the jar while it's processing, and if there's not enough room in the jar for it to expand, your jars can break in the canner. Next, use a damp paper towel or dish towel to wipe the edges of your jar. You don't want anything sticky. on top of your jar or they will not seal. And then place your lids and rings on the jars finger tight. Process your jars in the boiling water canner for 10 minutes. Make sure that you have an inch of water above your jars. If you need to add water to have the correct amount of water, don't set your timer until the water is actually boiling. Next, use a jar lifter or tongs to remove the jars from the canner and set the jars on a towel on the kitchen counter to cool. And your jars may have sealed when they were in the canner, but if they don't, it might take 15 or 20 minutes for them to seal as they cool off. You can tell if a jar is sealed or not by pressing down on the center of the lid with your finger. If it pushes down and up again, then it is not sealed, but if it is flat, then it is sealed. You will often hear a pinging noise when your jar seals. So give it a chance to cool off before you test the seals to see if they're sealed or not. By the time they're completely cooled off in a couple of hours, they will be sealed or not sealed by then. So if you have a jar that doesn't seal, you can still eat the jam, but you need to put it in the refrigerator and eat it in the next month or two. But if your jar is sealed, you can store it in a dark, cool area for 1 to 2 years. We really like this apricot pineapple jam. You can leave out the pineapple if you want to just make apricot jam. Just use 4 cups of apricots, but the pineapple makes a nice combination with the apricots. So this is a staple in our pantry, so we hope you like it too. Enjoy.